We did it.
We did it?
We're here.
Ready to go?
Yeah,
All right.
we're ready to go. We're ready, willing, and able.
I'm ready.
Cheers. We're adults.
Oh, nice. Here we go. I
You
get
got a
my
little coffee in
coffee.
there?
At 7-Eleven Coffee, they told me today. The woman told me because you download the app, all the coffee's $1.
On 7-Eleven?
Hey, you better believe it. I didn't do it though. I still don't have the app, but I think I might get it.
$1 for that's a deal.
That's a fucking
That's
deal.
a deal.
I might have to get that app.
I make my coffee at home now because I feel like all the shit that I put in it.
What type of machine do you use?
A French press.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like
It's
French
too
press?
much business.
Talk right into that.
When
Put that right in your face.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
When they put it down on my table, the French press, I'm like, what do I work here now? I feel like it's a lot of work. Just pour it out of a pot. Like
It
I
is a lot of
don't want to
work.
be pressing.
Or like those restaurants you go to where you cook your food.
I ain't French. I don't need.
Yeah, I'm not fucking French.
I'm not French.
I am not a sous chef. I'm not even putting pots and pans.
There's a lot of there's things where you cook. Yeah, I don't like that.
Or like like they give you that like hot thing and you cook the meats like at the Korean barbecue.
You know another one I've noticed. You don't go to a lot of Broadway shows, but I go to a lot of Broadway shows.
I know you
and
do, 'cause
now
you
what?
wish you were
yeah,
on
and
it.
now that's my one dream. And now that never is. Well, actually, there's been a lot of dreams that haven't been achieved at this point. But they used to be just one. Now
At
there's
least you have a
many.
lot.
Yeah. And now every Broadway show you have to be a part of it. You're sitting in the audience watching, and now at the end of the show they'll come in the audience.
No.
And now you get up and dance and you sing
No.
along, and I don't want that. I
don't
didn't come here
want
to that. Yeah,
That's
I
like
came
watching
here.
a horror movie and you
Now you're
being murdered.
Now you're involved.
I just
Right.
wanted to have
exactly.
it fun.
I just want to watch.
Yeah, I just want to watch it, especially Broadway.
I really put on like I just want to watch Vibe, and then it'll come my way. they could see that I just don't bother this guy. He's
It's in
nothing.
your eyes.
Yeah, it's in my eyes.
It's
I know
in
how
your
to.
kinky boo
It's the
eyes.
same one you probably from being in New Yorker for many years. It's the one you learn on the subway. It's the don't you dare even look at me or
No.
talk to me.
You don't make
yeah.
eye contact for longer than like 2 seconds because either you want to fuck or you're gonna die.
Right.
That's the law of the streets.
Kind of lives everywhere. Yeah, not only in New York, L.A., everywhere. Yeah, law of the streets.
When did
exactly.
your love of Broadway begin? Because you're from
New York, Long Island,
Ronkonkoma?
East End, Ronkonkoma, East End of Long Island. My love of Broadway. Oh my God, you're very young, very young. I love it.
What was your first play you saw? Do you remember?
Three Guys Naked from the Waist Down. It was a Broadway show. It sounds worse than it was.
God, it sounds like a childhood trauma.
I know. It
Jesus Christ.
It was a Broadway show about three guys trying to get on comedians trying to get on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Really?
It was a musical. It was fantastic.
Do you remember who was in it?
Scott Bakula was in it.
Who?
Who's now?
Scott
yeah, he's a
Bakula?
big time star now. He's
Oh.
on one of those. He's been in. If you know him, if you saw him, he's in a ton of stuff. A guy named John Cassier, who was a comedian that went on to be voices of a lot of cartoons. And then another guy I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what did you feel like when you saw that?
Oh my God, it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Minetta Lane Theater down in New York. Minetta
Yeah.
Lane, right down there.
Get your face in there.
And
Don't be afraid
I
of it.
went to I just went down there by myself, and I was like 15 years old. I used to go to the TDF, Theater Development Fund. They used to get tickets for 50% off.
Yeah.
They'd send them to you in the mail.
Yeah.
TDF's now called Tix. You maybe know it, and been to Times
Yeah,
Square.
all
you've
the
gotten your half-price
tourists are out
half-price
there.
tickets. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's what I did. That's I continue to do it. I go to a lot of shows out here in Los Angeles too.
What's good out here in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm a member of Pantages, which they do like a couple of plays a month.
also sounds like a weird sex cult.
They do a couple plays a month, and then downtown New York, downtown LA, I go see. We make a day of it. We go to dinner, then we go to the
Yeah.
show. I just saw that Ain't Too Proud, the Temptations one was great.
That looks really good.
It was really good.
See,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can sit through Broadway. I feel like the only Broadway show I've ever seen. I've seen like 2. I saw A West Side Story.
Okay,
which
good
is a
one.
classic.
A classic.
Classic with my mom.
Yeah.
Bunny, will you get off of me? And then I saw Stamos.
Oh.
In Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye Bye Birdie.
He
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Sure, he knows how to perform.
Yeah, with Gina Gershon.
Oh wow, she was involved as
Yeah,
well.
she was
That must have
involved.
been toward the end of the run
It
when
was
they
wild.
get anyone to just sell some more tickets.
It was insane.
But John Stamos has done. I actually saw him years ago. I saw the Beach Boys in downtown LA.
Dream.
They were doing a benefit for like a school or something, and that's when he was involved in them. Stamos
Playing
was
bongos.
drums and all sorts of things.
He's on the side
but
playing
he's
bongos
also like
shirtless.
he's also because they're all 80, and he's like also like the cheerleader of that.
Yeah.
He gets the crowd going.
He's a young heartthrob.
Yeah, right, and he's got to be 50 something now. So
Yeah, he's definitely at least in his 50s.
right.
Have some
right,
respect.
right.
You're
I know.
you better
I'm not.
Tread lightly.
I'm
you better
not.
tread lightly.
I do tread lightly. I'm a little pissed off at him because I believe he stole a idea. It since got canceled, but he had a show called Grandfathered or something where turns out he was the grandfather. Unbeknownst to him, he was the grandfather of a girl, and that he wound up. And that was a plot line we did on Chelsea after Lately with me. So we did a whole episode where I was somebody's grandpa, and the name of the episode was called Grandfathered.
Shut the fuck up!
3 months later,
There's
he
no
does the
original
same
ideas in
show.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
It's so weird because same thing happened to me where I had a life with him, and then he got married and had a life with somebody else. It's so weird how that happens.
Now, have you guys ever met each other?
Yes.
You have.
Actually, after
Because
the
he's like
show,
in the comedy world, right?
He's friends with Jeff Ross.
Yeah.
Bob Saget.
Yeah.
And like I met him. The first time I met him was after the Bye Bye Birdie show. Oh my God!
really?
What a nerd! I waited outside.
Yeah,
My friend at the
I've
time
done
bought
that.
tickets. Right?
I've done that. A stage
that?
door, yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
stage door, and you just
It's one of the
wait.
beauties of Broadway. No matter how big a star you are, no matter who you are, you still have to walk out the same door everybody walks out,
Yes.
and that's pretty cool.
It's part of the tradition.
That's it. That's
and
the
so
tradition.
he walked out, and there's a bunch of 30-year-old women and me.
Yeah, right.
And I just drudged up this like Greek phrase because I've dated a couple Greek
Christos
guys.
Aneste?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of those,
Yeah.
Echo tre arhidia. And so he walked, I don't know how he identifies. He walked down and I said some Greek stuff to him.
Yeah,
And I think I said I'm hungry.
in Greek.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
said Thelona Phao Spititora, which
That's
is
all
like
the
I want
Greeks
to
need
eat
to
now.
hear. They love
That's all
that.
you need
Yeah.
to say.
Right.
What else do you need to say when you go into another country? Feed me.
Right.
And I meant his dick. And he was like, oh, I don't speak Greek.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool, and then he was just like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because I wasn't doing comedy at that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Oh, this is way back.
This is way back. This is like when I first moved to New
Yeah.
York. And
So
then
you're
he
like
kept
a
going.
kid.
I was a child.
Yeah.
And then he kept going, and that was that. But we've met on Twitter and Instagram, and like he's responded to a bunch of my stuff.
Yeah.
And then he sent that really nice note about my dad after my dad
I remember
passed.
that. Yeah.
So, I
Well,
mean,
he
we're
seems like a
basically
decent
married.
guy. That is nice.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy.
I think he is a nice guy.
Good for him.
You're married.
I am.
What's changed for you? Like what?
Everything.
Were you scared about it? Like,
No, not at all.
No.
No, not one bit.
When did you know she was that she was the one?
Well, I'd love to say that there was some romantic, but I was just old and done, tired. No, I mean I'm not kidding. Like that's really what. Like I wish there was like a lightning bolt. Like she's the one. I'm like we both kind of looked at each other like this is it, right? Like we don't need to be doing this anymore.
I was old and done.
We both kind of were,
Oh,
and it was
that's
one of
so
those things where
honest.
it's like, oh, let's just do it.
That's so funny.
And it was, and it's been great. It's been great.
She's great.
It's fun. We have a great time. We're good together. We both travel a lot separately.
And she's doing her thing.
She works for Netflix. She's she's getting pretty high up at Netflix now, and so she travels all over the world for them. And I travel all over America for shit. I mean, she
Do you
goes
feel like a housewife?
she goes like gorgeous Amsterdam and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm in Dayton for 3 nights and whatever. You know how it is. You've
How
been
was
out
the
there.
wedding?
Wedding was good.
Did you cry?
No, well, yes. I cried at the whole thing. I cried at like seeing my friends there and stuff. That
Yeah.
was kind of fun. And I made it as small as I could possibly make it. But she's from here, and so it was hard for her to do that. And she's Jewish, so that's fucking thing.
Those lines are hard to draw in the sand of who to invite, who not.
It's
to
very
invite.
hard. It's very hard. I had no problem doing it. I was like, I'm just going to invite people that I've seen in the last year,
Yeah.
kind of.
I guess my invite got lost.
No, you know what? You
That's
were right
fine.
on the edge.
I
As
was
a
on the
matter of
cusp.
fact, you were on the cusp. There was a few people on the cusp, and you were one of them. And then we decided, Liz was like, let's not invite people we fucked. And I was like, that's a good idea.
And I thought that, and I was like, you know what? That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Right.
That's
And
totally
I
fair.
thought that was fair. I thought
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
That's a good line to draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, I would have definitely, you were up there.
She's just like, let's not people who've just that we fucked. Anybody in the butt? No.
Right.
Nobody in the
right,
butt.
right. So there was but weddings are they're over in no time, and you're just like, well, that was that.
Yeah. Were you able to like talk to people?
Yeah. the people I wanted to talk to, people come and they go. They're quick. Nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh, Jesus, let's go. Let's wrap it up. So we made it real quick. And we had a great band. Thank God. That was the.
Who
that
did
was
you
the,
have?
We had this cover band.
That's fun.
Oh, no, they were amazing. They're absolutely amazing. God, I should say their name just to give them some sort of
Say
shout out.
their
Because
name.
if you're now I can't think of it. But if you're having it'll come to me. If you're having like a wedding, these guys are just they are called Decadent Decades. So they go through like all the decades.
that's
like they play all
dope.
70s, 80s, 90s. So
Yeah.
and they're just unbelievable
Any
for a
hip-hop?
wedding. If you want it,
Yeah,
they
that's
send you a
dope.
list of all the songs they play, and you choose them.
That's smart.
They were great, and then they were going to wrap up at the end of the night, and they're like, if you guys want us to go for another hour, we will for more money.
And you guys were like, yeah.
But even my friend Carl, who's one of my buddy forever, he
love Carl.
coughed up money and got them to play another hour. It was
that's
great.
nice.
It was real fun. The whole thing was fun.
Carl's been in The Walking Dead.
He
was like a whole season he was in
was
it.
in for 2 seasons. He had a very big part of
He
The
had a
Walking
huge
Dead. He
part.
got killed.
I remember I saw him and I texted you. I'm like, yo.
I know he did
Carl
really
from The
good. He's a
Walking
good
Dead.
actor. He's a good actor. One of those guys been knocking around forever in this
Yep.
business.
He's got great bars.
He does. He's very successful in the restaurant business, but now he gets all this work in the restaurant business and busting his ass, and now he's never been more successful in the acting business.
the way
He's
this
got
shit
another show on
works.
CBS now, and
It's so strange because he was so thick into
I
the
know.
restaurant thing and then
just
the
finished
acting thing. like,
Harrison Ford's movie Call of the Wild. He just finished that.
that's wild. His Laurel Tavern, right? Is it Laurel Tavern?
No, Laurel Tavern.
No, Laurel Tavern's your one of your local spots.
That's one of my local spots. Across the street from Laurel Tavern is a place called the Black Market,
Shit.
and that's one of theirs, Black Market. And then he has a local peasant.
Local peasant.
One in Sherman Oaks.
They're actually really delicious.
Fantastic.
Places.
They're great. Go check
So if you're
them
ever in LA, go check them out for sure.
Shout it out.
Yeah. What about you? Have you gone out? Have you auditioned? When's the last time you went out on an audition?
Never. Nobody. Never. I never auditioned for.
How did you get Chelsea lately?
I walked in to Chelsea Handler Calder.
Oh, that's right, because you know.
How'd you
her.
ever get anything?
All my friends.
I've
friends.
never gotten one job from an audition.
Yeah.
Have you?
No.
Well, you do it more than me, I
mean,
think.
I've gotten. I guess Girl Code was essentially an audition
Yeah.
process, but all the other stuff, no. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 things. You audition 1,000 times and you maybe
Right.
get one.
I'm
I
so
got a
bad
Nintendo
at
commercial.
it. I'm so bad at it.
I'm terrible.
I'm so bad. I
Dude,
think you're
so many
better. Like
people are.
you have more balls than me.
Thank
I don't
you.
have balls like in real life. I have balls on stage, I think.
Yeah.
But in real life, I'm kind of like fucking. I'm nervous and shy.
Yeah, I could tell by
and-
the way you were walking down when I went to meet you.
Yeah.
You weren't sure.
No,
you looked
I-
like you just got raped.
Exactly. So that
You
was
look like wounded.
yeah.
You have this wounded energy.
I'm never comfortable like especially in an audition room. I'm
It's
just
brutal.
not comfortable that way.
I'm never comfortable. It's an art in of itself, and like
And the people who are good at it are the ones who book. I
Yep.
see it. I see, and then I go to one. Like I went to one. God, no, it's got to be a couple of years ago. It's the last one I've gone to.
what was it for?
It was for some fucking thing. Who knows? But and then they all know the guy. The casting director
Oh, they
knows.
know him.
They all know.
Yeah.
They come to every day
Yep.
for another thing. So they're like, who's this guy?
Yeah, they're like,
they're
who's
all
this
shaking
fucking
each
guy in
other's
his
hands.
cargo
They're all,
jacket?
and then Cranston comes in. I'm not Brian Cranston. Brian, the fucking
my
guy.
favorite.
No, the one who's in Fighter and the Kid.
Callan.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, Callan.
Brian Callan comes in,
Bye.
and this guy's doing jumping jacks. He's doing push-ups on the floor. He's got voices, and I'm like, oh, I'm not. There's
And
no
that's how he says
chance.
hello to everybody.
I know, and I like him. And then he goes into the room, and just thin walls. I can hear what he's doing,
They're like,
and
fucking
he's
Chris
doing
Franjola.
a full-on
Oh man,
shit, whole thing, which is probably what you should
that's
do.
what you're supposed to book the room.
Exactly. I go
All
in.
you have to do is book the room.
I stumble over 3 lines. I go home. I go back to the valet, get a nice lunch, and that'll be the end of it. Yeah. So
That's really what
I hate
is.
it. I hate it.
Hate it too. It's so grueling, and like even just the preparation
right.
that goes into it, and like for us, I don't know about you, but like 9 times out of 10, I'm on the road when I have to submit.
It always.
Even
I got
self-tape.
a proper thing up on a pillow in the hotel room. It's so fucking embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. And like having people read for you, you like have to ask your opener or a friend who's on the road with
Yeah.
you, and it's even that is weird.
Right.
Like, can I have to perform for this person, and then for somebody else is going to look at this tape? And essentially, self-taping is supposed to be the easy part of it.
Heather McDonald has a great story. She has, she sends in self-tapes with her. And she says that she'll just order room service when the self-tape like email comes in. She'll order room service. Guy comes up, and then she has him do it after he delivers the food and then tape the tape.
That's
self-tape.
a really good idea.
Yeah, so you got him up there in the room already. You might as well
and
keep
then
him for another.
you get a snack after.
Yeah, you get a snack after. There's like a treat at the end of the. I don't. Honestly, I've given up on like acting. I don't think that's my ever been. I wish I was.
You're natural at it, though. I've seen stuff that you've done.
I think
especially with Chelsea lately.
That's because I was comfortable in those surroundings.
Yeah.
So I felt good doing it. I wish, honestly, looking back on things like that, I wish I took it more seriously.
Well, especially because you love Broadway, so you obviously have an inclination or at least an attraction to the dramatic aspect of it.
Yeah, but I wish I had, like, there were people who I see people who are good at it. And I'm like, God, I wish I was better at it.
Who are some of your favorite actors, like on
Oh
screen?
my God! Like, honestly, there is no acting anymore. It's you're Iron Man or you're not. You know what I mean? Like I'm very upset by it because I'm a movie fanatic. I love the movies and I love watching quality work. And
you have a good taste in film.
Oh
for sure.
Fuck! I mean, I love it. And actually, we were gonna go to the movies last night, and we couldn't find. There's like nothing unless I want to see Toy Story 4, which nothing against Toy Story 4.
I got high and saw it. It was great.
I'm sure it is. I love the Toy Story movies,
but it's a children's movie.
I want to see an adult fucking drama, which they don't do anymore because we've dumbed down the world so much. With that's a story for another day. But why the world's gotten so dumb, and
that's another podcast. That's next week's episode.
and because of that, everybody has to be in a superhero outfit, and there's nothing wrong with those.
I mean, those definitely they serve a purpose, and now like the fact that genre is sort of crossing over the whitewashed version of it into a more realistic approach of having a multicolored cast.
Do yourself a favor and look at the Best Picture nominees of 1977. You'll be like,
people
holy
don't even know who the hell
shit.
they are.
Well, no, these are movies that you're like, these are like five classic fucking
1977.
You got probably Jaws. You probably got Star Wars. You probably got, The Goodbye Girl, like adult dramas. It's amazing.
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, this will be interesting. I think Star Wars might have been one of them. Now I'm probably.
Are we going for Oscars in 1977?
I'm saying the Best Picture nominees were probably unbelievable dramas about life.
Best
like Rain
Picture.
Man.
Rain Man
was released in the
good.
summer. It was released in the summer. It was a big, huge hit where it made $300 million at the box office. If you released that now, you'd have to put the put the retard in a bat suit. You know what I mean? To get anyone to get anyone to watch,
Oh my God.
That's I don't know. Can't do a thing about a retard.
Are you ready? Taxi Driver.
Oh, unbelievable. Martin Scorsese, greatest movie ever.
Rocky.
Thank you.
All the President's Men.
Oh my
wow.
God, Redford and Hoffman at their best.
Network.
The greatest movie ever. It's on Broadway now. You can see it on Broadway.
Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory. It's a good movie.
Is it?
Yeah, it shouldn't have been in there.
It is interesting to see how things evolve and like where that arc is. Like
you couldn't make any of those movies today.
No,
not one of them.
Couldn't. Well, you could, but it'd be on the indie circuit.
It would be on Netflix.
It'd be on Netflix.
Yeah.
You're right.
Or,
it wouldn't
or
be
HBO.
people. You wouldn't get people off their ass to go see that.
Absolutely.
You really wouldn't. And like you were talking about it before. What do you think? Because now that your things are changing for you in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is causing people to become so dumb? Like what worries you about it?
I don't know. I think we've emboldened the dumb. And, whatever you want to say about the current administration, that's not my thing, political, but there is he has definitely emboldened the dumb.
Yeah.
And that's great. They've all been there.
Everybody needs a team.
You know what? They've all been there, and now they got their guy, so they're like, oh, we got our guy, so we could fucking scream all we want and blah blah blah. I notice it in comedy clubs. I notice it when I'm out on the road.
It has evolved for sure. I've noticed that as well.
I notice it in places that, whatever.
In places where I like to refer to that are further from the water. I think when you get to cities that are bigger, that are on the ocean, there's a connectivity to the rest of the world that
right.
intercontinental U.S. doesn't have.
I'm going to debunk your theory
Okay.
by simply saying I'm from Long Island, and you'll never meet a island of more dumb motherfuckers in your life than those from Long Island.
Really?
And they are surrounded by water.
Yeah, and you're right near New York City, so maybe maybe that place is the exception to the rule.
It is the exception to the rule. Yeah. Oh no, and Ronkonkoma. Oh my God, for real. But the entire Long Island. Look at you, where you're from. You're not far from. You're in New York State.
Yeah, but the closest body of water in Syracuse is one of the most polluted lakes in the world.
Yeah, they have it.
Literally, that's a fact.
Right.
Onondaga Lake is literally, if you put your toe in it, it's going to come out looking like a lizard.
Yeah, so anyway, that's...
I definitely agree.
I think it's the phones. I think, and I'm as bad as anybody with this phone. I didn't used to be. Isn't
that weird how it just evolves?
I used to put my phone away and not all day. I didn't think about it, and then I'd pick it up, and it's not that long ago. Now I can't stop. I'm scrolling at stupid Instagram nonstop.
And for hours, have you looked at your screen time?
Oh, I don't even watch it.
I can't.
I don't watch it.
It's jarring.
It would be jarring.
It's honestly a day's shift.
Yeah.
On the phone.
No shit.
We're on the phone so much. Scientists, I read this article.
Yeah.
We're starting to
the
develop
horns in the back of our neck.
a spike in our spine.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
To compensate for to where our heads are shifting.
I saw.
That's terrifying.
I know.
We used to lose a pinky because we were walking so much. Now we're growing one on our fucking.
You're growing two little horns on the back of your head because the head is always down.
It's always down.
It's so fucked up. You used to bartend. You bartended for many years. And before phones, you would sit and have a conversation with the bartender. You'd have lunch at their bar, like your place, Puffy's or whatever. You would sit and have lunch at the bar. Then you would chat with the bartender. It would be kind of fun.
Talk about the neighborhood and work and politics.
Right. All of it.
They don't do that now.
You don't even look up. If you don't sit at you're on the road.
Shook.
You're like me. You're on the road. So you have lunch by yourself a lot.
Always.
You find a bar.
Yep.
And if you sit on that phone and you don't even notice the fucking bartender, and they're on the phone. I'm on the phone. Everybody's on the phone.
The one thing that has shook me when I really realize what's going on is when you're out at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And all generations of the family are on the phone, from the eldest to the youngest. Yeah. That's when you start to get a Black Mirror moment.
This is but here's the thing: we're only 10 years into smartphones, and that's it. That's it. 10 years.
Damn.
And this is 10 years at this. 5 years ago, it wasn't even this good. And now it's 10 years. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, it's fucked up. It's bad.
It really is fucked up. And especially just from a health level, what this puts out, we're not going to know for another decade or so the effect that this has, because it's in our pockets. It's on our head. It could be causing ear cancer.
I'm sure it is. And also
neurological issues.
The fucking whatever waves that are sending the messages to.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's going through somewhere.
The waves.
Yeah.
Dude, the waves are fucking.
Well, fortunately, I'll be dead in 10 years, so I hope all you horned fucking neck kids enjoy your life. Not leaving the couch to go see Rain Man. Go enjoy your horns, you fucking freaks. I don't like it at all. I'm upset I didn't get
That's the Chris Franjola, I know.
Thank you for bringing up that audition from 2 years ago. Now I'm thinking how I flew that one.
Do you want some of this?
No. What is that?
It's my new Absolute Extracts vape. It's really smooth.
I don't smoke weed. I know.
The
last time I did it.
Oh, it was with me.
Was that your thing?
Yeah.
And I vowed never to do it again.
It was a soft opening of the dispensary.
No. Not that. It
was some other weed
thing?
It
was a 420 show at the lab in the middle of the daytime at the Improv.
We did the 420 show at the lab, and you did a dab at the lab.
Did two.
Oh, you did two, and you don't dab.
No, well, I think people were fucking with me.
You came up in a three-piece suit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You better believe it.
I love Chris Franjola. He's the most professional comedian there is.
Until
you took 2 dabs.
Paralyzed myself to the point where. It was.
You were
screaming.
Scary. Remember, you were on stage, and there was this girl in the audience who was there with 2 Italian tourists, and you told her she was going to die.
Wait, I think I was projecting that.
You're like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Oh
my God. You're going to travel to LA with 2 Italian tourists?
Josh Wolf was on the show as well, and I remember at one point I was sitting on a bar stool. I was melting into a bar stool in the back. And Josh looks at me and he goes, "You all right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not all right." Like, this is I'm not like a drug guy. I've never been, not saying those are drugs, you know what I mean? But,
they affect you.
Even like drinking, I've never gotten like crazy drunk or anything like that.
You're a level dude.
Yeah.
You're a dude who likes 2 feet on the ground.
Exactly. I don't like any out of control.
No, I know you don't like
I don't
that.
like not, yeah, that's a good way to put it, 2 feet on the ground.
I don't like to do that too much either, but that day you were definitely floating like a kite.
Like, honestly,
I looked at Travis and I'm like, what did he do? He's like, a couple dabs. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
It was bad.
Those aren't, for me, dabs aren't fun. Like, I've done one in my whole life. And I was with Travis, my partner, and we were out for a walk because he said he needed to get me in nature to calm me down.
Yeah.
And so that resulted in me feeling the earth fold over me like a fucking taco.
Yeah.
I thought the earth folded over me and I was the center of the earth. And then he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, I am the core of it all, bro. He's
so
like,
what is it? What's it fucking with your mind or something? What's it doing?
The problem with the dab I did was that the resin, it was the freshest dab you could have. Like literally like eating a muffin that's still warm from the oven. Just pure THC oil. Like they extract it from the plant and it's so it has such a high concentration of THC depending on like the strain that you use, and it just affects you differently because of the process, how it's manufactured, how your endocannabinoid system receives it, and whatever you're experiencing with, whether you smoke weed, whether you have a dab, anything that's sort of psychoactive like that with marijuana, it just reflects what's going on in your mind.
No, I disagree with that.
You do?
Well, yeah, because my endocannabs were fucked up. Like, and it wasn't reflecting anything I have in my mind.
It was like it can bring out things that are kind of swept under the rug. And so if you have a panic attack, that sort of can mean that you've just been putting things aside.
That could be the case.
Yeah.
My one takeaway from the entire thing was I kept like reaching. I would take my hand and I was reaching like this. I kept like tapping a part of my back that I'd never touched before. Like, there's one part of your back that nobody can touch.
Yeah, no one can touch it.
And I was trying to get to that. Like, that was...
What'd you think was there?
I have no idea. A horn from reading my phone. I don't know. Like, but I kept trying to reach back to do that. And I went across the street to that restaurant. I think it's gone now, but the Red used to be a place called Red right across the street. And I sat in there, and I was like, I can't drive home. Like, this is bad.
Did you ever do drugs as a kid?
No, never, nothing, never.
What was like the worst thing you did as a child? Do you remember like ever getting into some serious trouble?
No. I was never like that.
Yeah.
Never been my thing.
Good in school?
Good in school. Good, fine in school. Not good, fine.
But they just haven't found the bodies yet, huh?
Yeah, like I'm better. I think I've played catch up a lot. I think I was dumb. I think I liked being dumb.
Yeah.
Now I don't like being dumb anymore.
I don't think you're not dumb.
No, certainly not. I don't think I'm dumb.
I think you just don't give a fuck about certain things.
I mean, it's more now than ever, Don't you find that to be the case?
Oh,
it's just
dude.
Like, God.
Well, I think it's when you experience any sort of like humbling life experience.
Which every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Or if you get these milestones in your life, like getting married.
Yeah.
Your whole perspective changes and you're just like, fuck you.
I know. Yeah.
You start to shed people who you realize were not good in your life.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of fun when you go through stuff like that, like good or bad, like getting married or losing somebody.
Right.
It gives you this clear perspective.
But you're out. Like, I follow your shit. You're still like out. You leave the house and stuff.
I know. And I've been leaving the house ever since my dad died. So I feel like I need to just stay in for a while.
Yeah.
I've been going so hard.
I look at like people who leave the house, like you and some other people I know, like Fortune Feemster, man. She is out.
Yeah, she's having ice cream cones on every corner and across the country.
Across the world.
She's in Italy. She's in Sorrento right now.
I know, but she literally went from Denver. I saw her like one day she was in Denver, next day she was in Italy. I'm like, I'm tired. And then
going from Studio City to here.
Oh my God, I was going to turn around. Yeah, it is. I don't know. More power to all of you guys who get out there and do shit, man.
I was saying, like, you've got a house now and you have a yard. You're excited about your yard.
I cannot wait. I'm like an old guinea. I just move shit around the yard. I just pick up like a bench and move it from one, and that's my day. Like, what'd you do today? And I make it sound. I make my wife sound like oh my God, what'd I do today? I retrieved the mail. Like that was they put it in a box right in front of the house. I retrieved the mail like I had to get in a horse and buggy and go get the mail at the end of the street. And then what else? I moved the bench from the back to the other side of the yard. She's like, that's it? Yes, that's it.
I'm exhausted. Yeah. Throughout a hip. How was Amsterdam?
Oh, my God. So, yeah, I mean, the backyard is the greatest thing ever.
The one thing about you that is unique to you is your ability and your eye for interior design.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever met a dude who's as good at interior design.
I love it.
Also doesn't take D up the B.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't think I have.
Not out.
I don't think I have a.
Jury's still out on it.
I'll say this for true interior designers who actually go to school and are good at it. I'm just good at like stealing. I'm good at taking shit from Home Goods and making it look good. You know?
Really?
Kind of.
I don't think so because I've been to your place and it looks like the inside of a magazine. Like you have your own. You definitely have taste. Like,
well, it's not this fucking dump.
We're in a transitional period.
Oh, you are? Okay, all right, yeah, because I was dying. Like I love that we had a couple. I don't know the earthquake. We had a couple earthquake a couple days ago. We had two.
I experienced it,
and it was just a bunch of people with shitty houses blaming the earthquake. I'm like, all right, you look like that before. Like, oh, my pictures are crooked. I'm like, they were crooked before. Don't be blaming your shit house on the earthquake.
I thought
not yours. Not yours.
I thought like literally around my house around those couple days. I was telling this to Katie. I was also having a conversation with Whitney about it. I was like, I've been asking for signs of my dad to come through, and like this picture frame of him and I was knocked over, and like this picture on the fridge, and then his ring was out of the dish, and I think he's trying to communicate with me. And Whitney's like, there was also an earthquake. So maybe stuff just got shifted. Like, cool. Thanks. You're
supposed to let people have that.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
so
just
it's not my dead dad.
That.
It's just platonic.
It's just the 7.1 out in San Bernardino did it.
What are they called?
Yeah, it was
Platonic.
It is Teutonic, right?
I said
Isn't that
platonic.
what it's called when the
yeah. It's a platonic Teutonic.
How's Whitney Cummings? What's her story?
She's great.
I follow her on her shit.
She's amazing. She's definitely my spirit animal for real.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she's just her and I have a lot of similarities.
I don't really know her. I mean, I know her, but I don't know her.
She loves you.
Know? Oh,
yeah,
she's
we
great. I think she's great.
Yeah, she's like, Chris is a good dude.
I've always liked her.
Yeah.
She's a nice person.
I was like, Chris is a good dude. He might have murdered somebody, but
how can
you turn away from that smile?
There's been times where I would like to murder some people, but
is there anything like in your life that you've regretted or wished that you had approached differently?
Yeah, everything. No, you know what I mean? Like everything.
What about with your career? Is there anything that you wish you had done differently in the beginning?
I wish definitely. Well, I mean, I'm glad I achieved some success, whatever. Later in life, Why do you think you're happy it was later in life? Because I just knew how to handle it. I mean, I saved my money. I didn't spend my money. I still have it, thank God. Because
that's a success right there.
Oh, totally. And this shit, as we all know, it comes and goes.
It's cyclical. There's so many ebbs and flows with it.
And hits. Like I was on a hit, you were on a hit. Like hits are fucking hard to come by. And
you think when you're in it, oh, this is it.
This is it.
I'm good. I'm good for at least 10 years.
So getting a hit like Chelsea Lately, being on that show for 8 years, a hit, that was that I don't think it comes again. I really don't. Getting on 2 hits, 3 hits is fucking impossible.
It's almost impossible. And the energy to like keep going and to reinvent and to find new avenues of revenue.
Right.
That's also almost a nearly impossible task.
Yeah.
To just keep going.
Yeah.
What was like one of the greatest experiences you had that came out of the Chelsea Lately era? Like maybe somebody you met, or maybe being able to go to a place you didn't think you'd travel to.
All that. I mean, I've been to all over the world, Australia, Tokyo, all through that show.
Yeah.
So that was great. And just, I mean, that show was just fun. We were just, I don't know if they make them like that anymore. We were just goofing off every day, and it showed. We didn't take it too seriously. We didn't sit and write for 18 hours a day. We just wrote for that was a dog.
Carlin just walked through your dream story.
Yeah. No, but it was
fun.
It was fun to do.
It was like it felt like
I do other shit.
It's destroying the set. Carlin, will you go? God, you're knocking.
Oh my God! Now you go. Your tail's gone wild.
Carlin, go. Go with Katie. Go away from us. Christopher is telling us about the successes in his career.
Oh, when that. But
will you go? You hear his tail. Look at you with those 2 dogs. The other 2 dogs are on her lap. Carlin, go. Back up, buddy.
Oh, he's listening.
See you later.
See ya.
Did you the one thing that I loved about that show is that you guys, all your personalities were so tied into the sketches you did, the style of the show. She really that show alone with all you guys almost put comedy back on the cool map, don't you think?
I hope so.
It helped.
I think. It did. I mean, Whitney was a big part of it. She was on our show a lot, and those people, I don't think there was. You weren't able to be yourself on TV once a week.
Yeah.
And that show, a lot of times you could just be yourself, which was cool. I don't know if I'll credit, I guess I will, Chelsea Handler with that. It just kind of happened, and she was like, oh, fuck it. Like, I don't want to fight it.
Yeah.
It happened. I don't know if it was her idea. It just happened.
Yeah. For me as a comedian watching, that's how we met.
Yeah.
You and I met from...
we met before that.
I was doing stand-up. No, I was doing stand-up at that time. Yeah. What about, is there anything that you want to do? Are you just, because you're touring still now.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Podcast.
The podcast has been fun.
I'm so happy you started a podcast.
I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it. I'll tell you this. I've never enjoyed stand-up more. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I just decided I don't give a fuck. I know I'm not going to get the following some people have. Right. It's just not happening. I tried everything to get it. I don't know what you have to do. Either people come or they don't. I show up that weekend at a club, and some nights they're there, and some nights they're not.
I feel like you when I show up sometimes because I'll show up if the show's at 8, I show up at 7:50.
Yeah.
I show up right before the show.
Me too.
I go on stage. I don't cause a problem.
Yeah. No problem.
Take care of the staff.
That's what I do.
I try and
That's why I'm still going.
Yeah.
I don't fucking sell out every night, so right. I'm certainly not that guy. But the only reason I'm still there is because if they look at 52 weeks, they got to fill 52 weeks.
They got to fill them.
So if they look at 52 weeks, go, get him. He doesn't fucking cause any trouble.
Look at that smile.
Yeah. Shows up on time, doesn't cause any trouble, sells 14 tickets the entire weekend. But whatever. He's cheap and he doesn't cause a problem.
Are you still doing Juicy Scoop?
I am. I do it a lot.
How is that?
Once a month. I did it this week.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, she's got that following, man.
Heather,
they are wild.
I love when that sort of stuff happens because it's fun to see and hear from the agent side their perspective on a certain comedian or artist.
Right.
And what they think that artist's career path is going to end up like. And then seeing people like Heather and Josh.
It's the greatest. I know.
They both did their own thing, and now they're doing it.
Well, it's a thing that we just didn't have 5 years ago, right. And there's a lot of guys doing Tony Hinchcliffe and those guys, and Santino and all of those guys. When we were coming up, not even that long ago, and even me more so than you were beholden to waiting for an audition.
Yep.
That was it.
There's
no other way.
Instagram outlets.
None of that. YouTube or
idea of creating your own
podcasts
content.
or nothing.
The word content wasn't even in the zeitgeist of language.
No. So now
does that make sense?
No, that does. Now I love that you could circumvent
Good
agencies and everybody. You don't even need them.
No.
And I'm not saying some of them are great, but I never had proper representation. I never had anybody who, kissed my ass the way I see some of these people, fucking hanging out with their clients and shit. I don't even know my agent doesn't even know my name. So I remember I called my agent one time.
They're like, we got to put Fortune out. You're like, I'm not Fortune.
My agent called me one time and he's like, I'll tell you a great agency story. We did the final Chelsea lately, the last one, which was a big deal. We had every celebrity in the world.
I remember
was on
that.
It.
I wanted to go so
huge
bad.
Huge final episode. 2 days later, I get an email. My agent sends out a tweet like, "Congratulations to my client Chris Franjola on a great run." I'm like, "And good luck on tonight's show." And I'm like, it was 2 nights ago, right? That ended. She goes, oh, I was watching it on
God.
DVR or something. I thought it was tonight. I'm like, no, it was 2 nights ago.
Thanks. You can't even get the date right.
I know. It was just
Here's
like
the
things
10%.
like it's like things like that that are just
Jeez.
like. And then they call me and like, you got an audition today. I'm like, I'm in Des Moines. They're like, you are? I'm like, don't you know that?
Didn't you book this
Isn't it on a board somewhere in your fucking office?
Or I love when they book you like 3 weeks straight and then they start tacking on stuff. You're like, have you guys heard of sleep?
Right.
Successful people don't sleep. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Kevin Hart and The Rock.
It's amazing.
And Whitney, I'm pretty sure they're taking naps.
Right.
I know for a fact that girl naps like 6 times a day.
Yeah.
They're getting sleep.
Oh, I do. I
Oh,
sleep.
God, I love a nice
I love when
nap.
people. I go on the
good.
road. People are like, what'd you see in Nashville? Nothing. I
bed.
didn't leave the hotel room.
You get out there.
Usually my second or third time through the city, I'll start getting out.
You have adjusted the way that I go on the road because I know that you will Yelp like the best brunch spot or the best coffee spot. Like you get out there, or at least you used to. And now I do that. Like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna find the best brunch spot or find like get out there.
I
with the
found
locals.
my first trip around 10 years ago. Height of Chelsea lately. My first trip around the clubs was real drunk looking for pussy.
Special title.
Yeah. That was my
DVD.
first trip around. Second trip around was hitting up the pussy that I'd found a couple years before that.
Seconds?
That was second trip around.
You did your own sloppy seconds?
Yeah.
Damn.
And less drunk. This time, now it's like going to museums.
Sober and naps?
Sober and naps.
Midday museum and then a pre-show nap.
Yeah.
But it's still like, for me, I'm probably on like the 4th trip around the country.
Yeah.
I think it's like, every like 18 months or so you make that.
Yeah.
That
you hit the
revolution
Chicago,
around
in Chicago again.
Yeah, you do. Because you see so much of it when you're there. Because for me, I get out because if I stay in the hotel, that's when the demons start creeping in.
Right.
And it fucks with my performance.
Yeah.
But now, like, I think I've gone the reverse where I used to be scared and I'd stay in the hotel and now I'm out. Like
and
I'm out in the
you're
world.
Still out there solo? You're out there like
well, I bring friends now. Like Marty Caproni comes with me a lot.
Oh, we were with
Andrew
Marty.
Williams. Yeah, I'll bring them out with me just because I feel like I perform better when I have friends. And also, like, we go out. Like, last time, Marty and I, we were performing in, oh, God, where the heck were we? We were in Troy, New York at the Albany Funny Bone.
Yeah, sure.
Troy, New York is gorgeous.
Yeah?
I had no idea. I thought it was just like meth huts.
Right.
I thought it was just dirt roads and meth huts.
It is if you go, like make a left. If you stay
like
right,
that.
people always tell you, they're like,
Yep.
It's really nice on this road. Walk 1 block further, it'll cut your throat. But stay.
Do you want bagels and like a cute like little cafe spot?
Yeah.
Stay on this. It is like
That's
that.
what Dayton was like. Dayton's got a gorgeous old homes and like $75,000. You can get like this unbelievable house with a wraparound porch and.
I mean, $75,000.
No, I'm not kidding. Like this is no fucking around. Like that's it. And then, but you walk 1 block over, and
people are
you're dead
children
in the
are
street.
shooting up heroin between their toes.
Right. So.
And it's just that's how it was like in Troy, and we got out like we went kayaking.
Yeah.
We went kayaking on the Hudson River.
Oh yeah.
That was questionable.
But that's up further, right?
It is a little, but there still was floaty things, like questionable floaty things. But it was fun. Like I felt like such an adult. Marty and I kept saying we were naturing so hard.
Are you out now, currently on the road? I don't know. I used to keep up your schedule.
Now I am, but like I'm gonna do that cross country thing. Like I'm doing JFL for July, and then I'm gonna be driving cross country again.
Oh really?
It's gonna be my third trip in my SUV with my dogs.
And do you stop at places?
Yeah, I stop wherever I feel like. There's this really cool spot. If you guys, you and the missus ever feel like getting out but not too far, there's this really cool place in Monroe, Utah, right off the 70. It's called Mystic Springs.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a place where meth was created, but beautiful.
Yeah.
Like if meth weren't so trash, like mushrooms. Like it looks like a magic mushroom oasis.
Okay.
This dude, his name is Magic Mike.
Magic Mushroom? Magic Mike?
I think he calls himself Magic Mike.
Like the stripper?
No, Mystic Mike. Magic Mike is the stripper.
That's that movie.
I always call him Magic Mike. It's Mystic Mike, and he located this like natural hot springs in the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
And built these like natural bowls and like baths to catch the sulfur springs.
Okay.
And then built these like cool little huts to stay in, like these refurbished buses and like
I
these
think I saw
log
you post
cabins.
pictures of this.
It's
now,
so dope.
And but I have to
$50
talk.
a night.
Do I have to talk to people though? See,
No,
my
you
thing
stay
with
in your cabin and shoot up.
okay. My fear is always when I go to something like that and there's a guy like Mystic Mike, I feel like I go down to the hot springs and I'm sitting in the hot springs and Mystic Mike comes down and then we're like chatting and he goes, hey, can I suck your dick? I feel like that's always going. Is that weird that I feel like it's going to go that route always?
That's how you pay.
Yeah.
That's the $50. So essentially,
I always have a fear that it's going to be some swinger party where, hey, what's now we fuck your wife? I'm like, no, we didn't sign up for that.
But the natural springs.
We were just looking for a continental breakfast. We didn't want your dick in my face.
Yeah. It's enjoyable. I'll be doing that.
Okay.
And then
that's great.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is this a solo gig or are you Marty Caproni sitting in the back seat?
No, it's solo. Just me and the dogs. Carlin Peluso, back it up and go lay down. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nice try. See, it's so great having shelter dogs. They're so not needy.
You and the yeah. All right, I like that.
Do
you have a camp or just?
No, I'll Yelp.
Yelp Hotel Tonight.
Yeah, or I'll Hotel Tonight, which I also got from you. Little
Love
road
it.
tricks.
Greatest thing ever.
I'll just find like the coolest city in that state.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I read about travelers is like the best and the smartest way to travel is to have not to really have a plan.
Oh, I never do.
Because if you like set these places where you have to stay, then you give up the spontaneity aspect of driving cross country.
And is this you'll go to gigs throughout?
I'll have a couple gigs, but not too much because I like to take that. Like, August for us is kind of like a
I have nothing in August.
Yeah, like I really don't have much in August, so I just take that time and I'll spend time with my family.
Yeah.
Go there and hang out with my sister's kids and question if I'm going to procreate or not.
Are you? What do you think about that?
I'm going to freeze my eggs. I got to freeze them.
That's what everybody does.
I'm going to freeze them.
Why not?
Fuck it. Like, they're fresh now.
Yeah.
They won't be in 5 years.
Right.
They're going to be like...
5 years. That was me. Wow. Yeah.
I didn't... to talk about Whitney again, we were talking about this yesterday, and she said this and I felt the same. Like, I didn't think about having children until my dad died. Right. And then I sort of saw I was going to say novelty, the value in having, it continue on. And she put it really beautifully. She's like, I want to make somebody who looks like him. I want to have a little bit of him. It's a way to just continue that line. And maybe it's some weird, from whatever we're created.
And what does your sister have? 2 now? 2, right?
2, but they sound like 10.
I know. Well, that's it. That's just the way it goes. It's a lot.
Oh my God. My sister's daughter, my niece, is so insane. She'll look at you.
Yeah.
She looks like she has everything figured out. Have you ever been disarmed by a 2-year-old?
No. Yeah.
I was emotionally, physically, metaphysically disarmed by Karina.
Wow.
She just looks at you and she's like...
And that's the youngest? She's got a boy as well?
Yeah, Elliot, who I asked him what he wants to be when he grows up, and he said a monster.
Well, you can achieve that. That's definitely a goal you can achieve.
You already got that one checked off the list, buddy.
Harvey Firestein. No, not Harvey. Weinstein. Yeah, that's what his goal was to be.
But
and he did it.
With that Harvey Weinstein thing, don't you think that his camp should also be held accountable?
Of
the
course.
People who enable it?
Yes.
Why don't we hear about the little worker bees? Why don't we hear those names?
In some cases, those people just needed a check, and I gotta understand that. I mean,
putting food on the table, but at the cost of.
Hey, I've enabled some stuff along the way myself. I've seen some shit. I was like, what? I didn't know that.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, I must admit, I've turned the other cheek on some things. Nothing like that, but I think I've seen some shit.
People do to a certain degree, but I don't know that whole. But then you also have to look at the women and people. There has to be accountability on both sides, I think. With the whole Louis C.K. thing, Harvey Weinstein, I get the predatory aspect.
Right.
As a woman, I've definitely been in those scenarios.
Yeah.
But I also understand that I also have to armor myself with a certain attitude, a posture about myself so that I don't put myself in those scenarios.
Totally. But, I mean, I feel like this is going back to the road. I was saying you go along because it is different for you guys. It's so just different. It just is. Everything about it. Totally. I mean, most of the hotels you stay in, the decent clubs are fine and all that.
You get nice hotels.
But even still, you don't know what fucking weirdos coming from the club.
All the information, the passing of emails, and everyone knows where you are.
Right. They know exactly where you are. They know when you're being dropped off at the fucking, at the Holiday Inn Express and whatever.
Katie could show you some of the messages that dudes send me.
Oh, man.
And she sends me a text like, I want to murder these dudes. Like,
yeah.
I can't handle
yeah.
it.
I'll say thank God, and I don't know who to thank for it. I would say my parents, but they didn't do a damn thing. Nice people, but
Jerry?
they're the greatest. I mean, I love them.
Jerry,
still going strong, great people, but they never did anything parental at all.
Oh yeah.
We just found our way, fortunately.
Yep.
But I've never had that thing. I've never been
in a scenario.
No, I never felt the need to
Go, Carlin.
Be shitty to women.
Yeah, you've always been you're a respectful dude.
Yeah.
And like I definitely, from my parents' perspective, Carlin, I'm talking about not getting raped. Can you go? I mean, my first sexual experience was rape. So that was my introduction into sex.
Oh, you should have told me that before we started.
I've talked about it on the podcast many times, but my parents didn't really armor me. We never had the like sex talk. We didn't have the stranger danger talk.
No.
But
did
it's
anybody
also
though?
Generational. I don't think.
I mean,
so.
now. Yeah, definitely.
Now they're having.
I mean, I think generationally, I'm maybe even a different generation than you.
Yeah.
But
like at least by 50 years.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like I'm in a different world than you're in, like age-wise. And
being a guy.
Yeah, and we didn't do any of that.
Did you ever?
Never.
I remember.
But I was also grew up in a family of boys. You grew up in girls.
Yeah, you grew up with all boys. And your father had like a man's job.
Yeah, man job.
And you had I think you had a quintessential upbringing as far as like, what your mom's role is, your dad, how he worked, and then you having all of your brothers.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I don't know if you have any experience of this, like, as a child. I have this vivid memory of when I was, like, 8 or 9, coming out of my house with my friend Lindsay, and we're playing in the front yard, and this Caprice Classic, like this white Caprice Classic pulls up, and the dude literally asked us if we wanted candy. Like,
God, that's crazy.
I mean, that's like out of a Law and Order SVU episode.
Right.
And I think I was like, no, we got some in the house. Like, do you want to come in? I think I invited him in the house.
Yeah.
Like, no, my mom's got a whole bunch. Like, we just got some.
Right.
Do you want to have a candy party? How did I not die? The guy just drove off.
Yeah.
I think I scared him. I think, like, maybe my like just coming back and one-upping him, like, bro, you want to come to my house?
The other thing, I don't find 8-year-olds like that hot. You know what I mean? Like I've never been at that. Maybe that's another good thing. Like I'm like I don't see it at all.
But that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Those dudes think they're attracted to that.
And there's got to be a time in your life when you're one of those dudes.
Don't you fucking point at
me.
No,
you know what I mean? Like one of those. Like they realize it. All of a sudden they're like, hey, I find that kid like that's gotta fuck you up.
That's gotta fuck you
up. Thank God
or
that's never been my thing.
They live in oblivion and they're just stuck in that, thinking it's normal.
Right.
They don't even have the revelation of this is fucked up. They're like, this is what I do.
That's a whole other
This
thing.
is how I like it.
Yeah.
I can't I'm a pretty peaceful person, but that's the one thing that makes me want to. I think that I would probably physically assault somebody if I knew anybody who had been in that scenario. Like, we don't like kid fuckers.
I don't like it. And, I just watched this great movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's Bo Burnham is a comedian and directed and wrote, I believe, this movie called 8th Grade. And you should definitely.
Oh, I heard
Oh, my
about
God,
that.
it's amazing.
I want to watch that.
It's just like, it's basically through the eyes of a girl who's in 8th grade. And it's just 8th grade. Like that's basically the movie. It's 8th grade today. Like if you had a kid, what's 8th grade? 11, 12, 12, 12,
it's a nightmare,
13 maybe.
Dude,
oh my God, I don't know.
You got chimples.
Oh God, I don't know what.
You
it's
you kind of want sex, but you don't know how to do it.
And
you
all
make
the
out,
guy
it's gross.
and it's the phone. Like they all have the fucking phone. So it's like they're sending titty pictures and shit.
Oh
like,
my God, in 8th grade, that's like I feel so fortunate that I grew up in the analog.
Right.
I grew up in a generation. We didn't have a computer.
No.
We didn't have.
I know.
We had like a stone and chisel. Like we didn't have text messaging. We would yell out of the house.
Right.
Like we didn't have any of that.
But I know. But the kids in this movie, and I think it's true, are like send me a hot picture. And these are 13-year-olds.
Hot pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, what does a 13-year-old boy even know about what's hot?
But I guess I'm thinking back to when I was 13, like all I want to do is find like a Playboy magazine. So now Playboy magazine could be sent you could look it up. God. It's right there.
Oh man, I don't know what it's going to be like when I'm ready to pop a baby out. It's just going to be like virtual reality dick pics. Like it just shows up.
Yeah.
It's like
airdrops right onto your face. All of a sudden you're getting teabagged by an airdrop. That ain't right. But here we are,
That's a good joke. You should do that as a joke. Yeah. All of a sudden you're getting teabagged by an airdrop.
Well, they do.
What a nightmare.
I don't have airdrop because I have a Samsung Galaxy.
Oh, you're one of those.
And
I wouldn't have had you on the podcast had I known that.
But I've seen people get airdrop like on a plane. I guess you could just throw the airdrop out and it'll land on whoever phone is open to airdrop. You
can toss it out.
So I was with Heather. Heather and I would go touring together, and Heather McDonald was sitting next to me, and a dick pic got airdropped right to her phone on the plane.
That's kind of hot. Was it from the pilot?
No, we don't know. We don't know who was. No, it's from a guy in the middle seat in the back, probably.
Was it you?
Pilot.
You're like, I'm going to send this to Heather.
Take a look. Yeah. Anyway.
You're a fucking delight, man. Before we get out of here, I'm going to ask you, because you've been doing stand-up for how long now?
Oh, my God. A long time.
I think you've been at it for 19 years.
No, 20, a little bit more than 20, I think. I don't know the date. You know the date? You know your start date and stuff?
The comedians who know, like, the second.
Like Jeff Ross recently posted something like, this is the 35th, today.
The only reason
I have no idea.
I know the exact date only because my boyfriend at the time filmed it, and my father came and visited, and I have a photo from that day. So there were, like, digital and, like, photographical moments to like isolate the time. I don't know if photographical is a word,
it was one of my. It's certainly not a word, not even close. But you added a bunch of letters to a word that already existed.
Absolute extract. Yeah. Adding letters to words.
I remember when I first met Jessimae, she was relatively new to stand up, very funny, but. And on your this is going way back, and in your Facebook page, you had like every bar show she'd ever done on her.
I did
have and I told her, I said, take your shit videos down.
He's helped me a lot.
I said, you don't want people to watch your first performance ever. And literally one of them, the camera had fallen over on its side, on a back table, and she had it on there, like a side angle of her on stage at some shit bar and wherever.
Oh my God, I'm dying. I really did.
Yeah.
You honestly, you've definitely helped me. You've helped me refine my approach to comedy, to road life, to just, just overall how I exist as a human being in this career. So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So is there anything on that note that you would say to comics starting out, maybe comics that are thinking about quitting? Like, is there any sort of a word of advice that you've given to yourself?
Well, if you're thinking about quitting, quit. I would say that. Quit. I would also say, you're not as good as you think you are and I would also think that if you're a road headliner like you and myself, and a lot of people are, I shouldn't say that. Not. Yeah. And I feel like we've done it, ourselves, because we shit on all the time. Oh, the Chuckle Hut and blah, blah sucks and this and that. But I've recently decided that I'm going to say it's fucking hard to be a road headliner.
It is.
It is hard to take that act, that whatever hour you have, and make it, appeal to everybody.
Yep.
Not only fucking Omaha, it also appeals to San Diego and San Francisco.
Year after year.
And Miami and da-da-da. And you find a way on a Thursday night to make it work, on a Saturday night make it work. And the guys who do it, you, me, Wolf, that's fucking good. Yep. And those guys who do the Comedy Store every night, not the good ones, not the Rogans and those guys, but the other dudes who are hanging around looking for get 7 minutes, that's not the way to go. You need to be out
to be out on the road.
Because that's what
that's your bread and butter.
That's always going to be there.
It's always
going to be there.
Always. That's where you make your money. That's
Look at
where you
Saget.
get good.
Saget's out there still. Jeff Ross out there. They're still out there.
Wanda.
Everybody. Because you eventually have to go back and you have to have an hour that works in a fucking club night after night.
Yep.
And that's it.
Get out there and fucking do it.
7 minutes at fucking doing roast battle ain't fucking doing it. You know what I mean? Like that's a cadence that doesn't even work in the real world.
Right, you have to be able to take it on the road.
Be able to tell a guy how fat he is. You're so fat. Your mama's fat. Everybody fat. Like that doesn't work in the real world. You're
going to offend a lot of America.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So anyway,
where can people find you?
Yeah,
What's
all
your
the friends.
Come on,
my podcast is called Cover to Cover. Listen to my fucking podcast.
I'm so proud of you. You were so against podcasts.
I was
years.
not against them. I just thought
I'm not doing a podcast.
I just thought there was so many, and you know,
what the fuck am I going to talk about?
I find a way.
Yeah, I was so happy to see you did Cover to Cover, and they can also hear you on Juicy Scoop.
Cover to Cover, I do Juicy Scoop once a month, and then I do my own Cover to Cover once a week. Thursdays, I usually release them, and it's called Cover to Cover with Chris Franjola. You find it in all the places you find podcasts, and then I'm on the road.
Where can they find your road dates?
Franjola.com. I think if it's updated. I'm Salt Lake City, Wise Guys, and 19th and 20th of July, and then all over the place.
Awesome. Well, I love you, brother.
I love you back. Always good to see you.
Yeah, you're one of my favorites. I don't
see enough. You too.
Sorry about Carlin ruining your really soft story.
That's all right, Carlin.
He's just abused.
You've been through a lot. Probably had Michael Vick throwing chicken bones at you for, making you fight your brother or sister.
It's a hard
But look
story.
at you now.
Look at you're living the life.
Look at you now.
Too bad we're going to have to put you down for ruining the whole production.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Sharp Tongue Podcast. Beep, beep, beep.